The damp London night offered little respite as Detective Inspector Davies sat in his office. The file before him detailed the murder of a wealthy art dealer, Mr. Alistair Finch. Mr. Finch had been discovered dead in his opulent townhouse, and the method of killing was deeply perplexing. There were no signs of forced entry, nor were there any witnesses. Davies began to investigate the deceased's background. Mr. Finch was a shrewd and successful businessman with a number of rivals. However, the mystery surrounding his death was compounded by the fact that nothing had been stolen and no personal grudge was immediately apparent. During the investigation, Davies learned that Mr. Finch had recently acquired a valuable collection of artifacts, including a rare antique clock. Davies sought more information about this collection and discovered that Mr. Finch was planning to sell the clock at a private auction. Davies obtained the list of individuals invited to the auction and began interviewing them one by one. After several days of diligent work, no significant lead emerged. Everyone's accounts seemed consistent. One evening, Davies was in his office, reviewing all the case notes, when his attention was drawn to a minor detail in a photograph of the deceased's study. The corner of a Persian rug was slightly folded. This struck Davies as out of place. He immediately went to Mr. Finch's townhouse and re-examined the study. Upon lifting the rug, he found a small hidden compartment in the floorboards. The antique clock wasn't inside, but a small, folded piece of paper was. The paper had a single name written on it. Edward Davies promptly gathered information about Edward and discovered that he was Mr. Finch's former assistant, who had been dismissed some years prior for embezzlement. Davies apprehended Edward. Initially, Edward denied any involvement in the murder, but when Davies presented him with the note, he broke down. Edward confessed that Mr. Finch had falsely accused him, leading to his termination and the destruction of his reputation. This was his motive for revenge. He had meticulously planned the murder to avoid leaving any trace. He hadn't intended to steal the clock. His sole aim was to make Mr. Finch suffer. The moral of this story is that resentment and vengeance cloud judgment, and their outcomes are invariably destructive. Driven by his bitterness, Edward committed a grave crime and would spend the remainder of his life in prison. Now, let's go to increase vocabulary. Damp adjective. Slightly wet, often in a way that is unpleasant. Example: the walls of the old basement were cold and damp after the heavy rain. Perplexing adjective. Confusing or difficult to understand. Example: the instructions for the new software were so perplexing that I had to watch a tutorial video. Embezzlement noun. The crime of secretly taking money that you are responsible for, especially from your employer. Example: the accountant was arrested for embezzlement after transferring thousands of dollars to his personal account. Destructive adjective. Causing a lot of damage or harm. Example: the hurricane was incredibly destructive, leaving thousands of homes in ruins.